Good afternoon. Oh, my name is Dr. Kamamia wa Murichu. I'm a proud alumni, alma mater of the School of Pharmacy, University of Nairobi. I joined the University of Nairobi in the year 1989 and I arrived in 1983. And, in those years, we used to graduate 1 year later. So I actually graduated in 1994. Between 1983 and 1984, I was doing my internship. We had the mandatory 1 year internship program, 6 months at a government hospital facility, 3 months at a retail pharmacy, and 3 months in an industry. For my hospital attachment, I went to Kenyatta National Hospital. And I can tell you I was very, very lucky because apart from the normal dispensing duties, I was actually co-opted in the procurement committee. By that particular time, we had the late Professor Julius Meme as the director of Kenyatta National Hospital. The late Dr. Biuha Kiama was also the pharmacist in charge at that particular time. So I got a lot of experience, a lot of exposure at very, very young ages as an intern pharmacist from the University of Nairobi, because I was able to interact with who is who in this country. And this actually gave me a head start because I was able to know a lot of things. In actual fact, I was able even to do procurement, especially for the private pharmacy in that hospital. We had 2 unique pharmacists. We had the private wing pharmacy, and we also had the pharmacy for the staff at Kenyatta National Hospital. In actual fact, I'm the person who started the staff pharmacy for Kenyatta National Hospital in those years, and now we are talking way back in 1994. So it's been a long journey. And, I'm proud because of what the University of Nairobi did. I would also like to mention that during our times in those years, the hospitals used to have what we used to call the sterile production units, the SPUs. Hospitals used to make their own eye drops. Hospitals used to make their own IV fluids. And this was cutting across all hospitals from Kenyatta National Hospital, Nyeri Provincial Hospital, Nakuru Provincial Hospital, Machakos, and all those types of things. So hospitals used to actually manufacture sterile products, water for injection, IV fluids, eye drops, ear drops. We used to make them there ourselves as pharmacists who had been trained at the University of Nairobi. Those are issues we used to do. But now I don't know what came up because several years down the line, I think a lot of people started seeing the amount of money that was being involved in these issues. And then they started to kill the production. But now you can imagine how stable this country was. Because you see, it costs you very, very little to make your water for injection, your IV fluids. And now you can take a facility like Kenyatta National Hospital. How many bottles of intravenous fluid, the 9% sodium chloride, are used daily? Now all this production went down the drain, and we are now being forced to import all our products. So we have been importing a very big quantity from Uganda. The others we're importing from Germany, India, and all those types of things. These are issues that the university, that students, pharmacists who have been treated at the university can be doing. Yeah. Now, for my industry attachment, I went to Eris. Eris Chemical Industries. It was one of the most upcoming firms at that particular time, and now it has grown up strength to strength. During those years, the production was not as complex as today. The machines were not as new as today. We used to do a lot of paracetamol, both tablets and the syrups, a lot of ibuprofen, a lot of amoxicillin capsules, amoxicillin powder for reconstitution, and all those types of things. And by that particular time, the local manufacturers were not that many. In actual fact, there were below 15. Yes. But at that particular time, those years we had a very, very heavy presence of the big multinational pharma in this country. I can mention them. We had Wellcome, we had Stan Winthrop, we had Bayer, we had the GlaxoSmithKline, we had Coopers, we had Haxt. All those big names, all those big companies, MSD, were here. We had Hausen, McGeorge, and all there. So that time, the dominance was by the European farmer. The Indian farmer had not come into the picture because the Indian farmers started coming sometimes in 1992, 1993, after we liberalized the economy. You know, before that time, it was actually during the President Moi's time, whereby the World Bank came up with what we are calling the structural adjustment programs. And this was a must for any country that was going to get any financial aid from the IMF in particular, that they had to do what we are calling the structural adjustment programs. And among those requirements was for opening up of the markets. So after the markets were opened up, now we had a lot of generic manufacturers, generic importers coming in. At that particular time, I can tell you for sure that apart from we only had Harris, we had Rhodes, and we had Nairobi Enterprise, and probably Chemokeep. Those were the people who are only doing the generics. But now, within the last 20, 30 years, the whole equation has changed. Because now the majority of the players in this industry are the generic importers. They are now controlling up to 80% of the Kenyan market. So also by that particular time, India was not compliant with the World Trade Organization, WTO requirements. But we are aware that from the year 2005, India had to become compliant with the WTO requirements and then started respecting patents. Before, India used to do what we call reverse engineering. What it used to do was that it could buy an innovator product, analyze it backwards, and then come up with a generic version. Yeah. Yes, so that's why you see at that particular time, India was quite ahead. But after the year 2005, when India became a member of the World Trade Organization, it had to respect patents and all those types of things. Despite India doing that, the production in India has not actually gone down, it has gone up. Then the other issue we require to realize is that as years go by, during those years, the patent protection period was only for 7 years. But things have changed. It was now increased to 20 years. But now you see the innovator products which were discovered all those years, the 20-year protection period has expired. Yeah. And now, because of that, numerous generic versions have become available. In actual fact, the challenge we are having in this country is that our local manufacturers are still producing the old molecules. The penicillin-based, these are the amoxicillin, the ampicillins, and all those types of things. If it is the antihistamines, we are still making chlorpheniramine. If it is the painkillers, we are still doing paracetamols, we are still doing piroxicams, we are still doing ibuprofen. Yet newer molecules have come up. Yeah. This is one of the areas whereby our local manufacturing is not catching up. So far, we have not had anybody in this country who is making anti-cancer drugs. Yes, I think it's because of all those types of things. Yes. Now, after I was with my internship, I think I was posted to Madeira. I declined the posting. This is the time now I joined the private sector. My first employment, I opened a small pharmacy. Those years, it was in Kibera. It used to be called Trans-Africa Pharmaceuticals. Obviously, this is something we have seen that before anybody goes into business, you require experience. Minimum 5 to 10 years. But you don't just leave university and go and open your own business. There are businesses, pharmacy business, it's not just about selling medicines. There are issues about stock management, discipline, especially on handling cash and all those types of things. And that's why you find out a lot of the very, very young pharmacists who go to open their own chemists. Several years, 5 years, 8 years after graduation, they don't go far because they have not yet developed the finesse of business. The finesse of business is this is something that we are not taught at the university. When you come out, this is the time you start learning how business is done and all those types of things. Apart from that, at very, very young ages, unless you have got very, very strong family background, you know you don't have any properties to give to the banks as security to give you loans or money and all those types of things. So you have to rely on the goodwill of your friends to do all those types of things. So from my own experience, I would urge the young pharmacist, please, the first 10 years after graduation, spend them on employment. You can be employed by government, you can be employed by the retail pharmacy, the industries, the distributors, and all those types of things. So now, after that, I joined pharmaceutical marketing as a medical representative. I started at Nairobi Enterprise. It was a very, very exciting time because I traveled around the whole country. We used to, those years, life was very nice. Used to have a company maintained vehicle, fueled, insured. The company was maintaining it. We used to have a lot of money, night outs and all those types of things. And I was able to tour literally every corner of this country and make influence.
Yeah. What year was that?
That was 1996, 1997, and 1998. I was at Nairobi Enterprise. By that particular time, I can tell you, lifestyle that was being lived by the big pharmacists who are working in the multinational pharma industry was very, very nice. They used to drive top of the range vehicles. And probably those years, the top of the range vehicle was the Peugeot 504. You remember it was actually the choice of vehicles for government. The district commissioners, provincial commissioners, and all those. We used to have the Peugeot 504 saloon. And we really used to admire all those types of things. I remember with a lot of nostalgia that we used to go down to Mombasa on Saturday afternoons, where I can tell you for free that we could drive from Nairobi to Mombasa in under 5 hours. And we used to move in a convoy. Then after that, we meet over there as a big group from multinational pharma, from the generic marketing companies, enjoy our times. That particular time, medical reps were all pharmacists. The Bachelor of Veterinary Medicine people came in later. We are all from the University of Nairobi. So we used to know each other. Apart from that, something of coincidence is that because of the grade that was being required to do pharmacy at the University of Nairobi, it was highest. So all the graduates were either from the Alliance High School, the Alliance Girls, Mangu High School, Kabarak High School, and all those types of things. So now we used to have a background that you were in high school together, you were in the university together, and all those. So it was basically like we were continuing with life. So we with people who had known each other for the last 6, 7, 8 years. You have been together, so you're able to do all those types of things. This is the time we were establishing families. People used to organize pre-weddings, lolacios, and all those things, all weekends, because we had the vehicles, we had the money. Was to attend each other's functions and all those. So I can say that life at that time was beautiful. It's not like today. Probably I may surprise most of you. Like that time we had one drug. That time the use of condoms was not as widespread as here. So even the retail pharmacy, the drugs that used to sell hottest were for the treatment of sexually transmitted infections. Like now, you know, we had the casino clinic, which was being run by the Nairobi City Council. Those times, we never had the county government. That was a hot place because one drug that used to sell hottest was noroxin. By that time, we never had a generic version of noroxin, which is a norfloxacin. You can imagine that one tablet, at that particular time, those years used to cost 96 shillings. Now, a generic cost 5 shillings. Piroxicam, we used to have a drug known as Feodine. It used to go for 100 shillings. Now, what I don't understand is that those years the per capita was too low, but people still used to afford those drugs. Because I can tell you, 90% of all the medicines that were in the distribution chain were branded medicines, were the originals. Because the generics now started entering the market from 1995, 1996, 1990, 1997. So that was a very, very good exposure. So now after that I left Nairobi Enterprise. I joined Harris as a pharmaceutical manager. And my work was now in another line that was on product registration, which was very, very technical because I wanted to run all the areas. So here, this time you are doing drug registration. That was something which had just been started in the country. We had people like Professor Isaac Kibwage as the chairman of the drug registration committee. We had people like the Dr. Ogeto, who was a member of that committee, and many, many other people. And we used to take those years, those times it's box files, big box files, 6 of them. We used to print everything, put it inside there. We never had the new CTD formats. You had to take the samples there, wait, they do the queries, they write to you, you have to answer. There was no internet. Those years, there were no mobile phones. Those years, mobile phones were there, but they were for the very, very, not the very, very rich, the very, very rich. Okay. Those are the only guys, because by that time, if you had to have a mobile phone, to get one, you are covering between 200 to 250,000 Kenyan shillings. Yes. Wow. So after that, I did a drug registration for quite a very big number of products for Harris. Then after that, now I had enough on that side. And by this particular time, I've mentioned to you that we had the generics coming up. The issues of other sources of original medicines were coming up. As you remember, those were the years when the late President Moi was in power. And as the years moved on, the economy started deteriorating. So the issues of access and affordability to medicines, out-of-pocket purchase, became a problem to a lot of Kenyans. So this is a time now a few pharmacists from University of Nairobi got together. We had people like Dr. Mukuri, who was teaching at, resigned from being a lecturer at KMTC Nairobi, and he came and established Salama Pharmaceuticals. We had Dr. Kamau, veteran, Dr. Durango, Dr. Washira Jimia, Dr. Joroge of Omomaira, the others. And we got together and then we said that why don't we start looking for these products, like now products by GSK like Augmentin were hotcakes. So, but the price here was too unaffordable. And then now those internet started entering the country. We could now be able to know what was happening in other markets. We had a lot of visitors coming in to register medicines into the country. The economy was opening up, commercialization was going on. So this is the time now the issues of parallel importation started. And now this is the time now I joined the group. Okay. It was very, very difficult. It was very, very vicious at that particular time. Because the multinationals, when they realized that we were bringing in their products, they decided to fight. Now, this is a time the whole sector, most of these were University of Nairobi graduates, alma mater, say that the only person who can be able to assist us in fighting this war is Dr. Murichu. This is a time now we sat down, we drafted the constitution, and we formed the Kenya Pharmaceutical Distributors Association. So this is the way the Kenya Pharmaceutical Distributors Association was born. It was a vehicle to bring people of like minds together who are going to look for alternative, cheaper sources of medicines. So I've been the chairman of the Kenya Pharmaceutical Distributors Association from the year 2007 to date. But I had a sojourn because after I left Harris, this is a time now you all remember the late Dr. James Obega, may his soul rest in peace. He was teaching us clinical pharmacy together with Dr. Demo, Professor Demo at the University of Nairobi. By this particular time, Dr. Obega had started a small college in Hurlingham, where he was training in certificate in pharmacy. I also went and joined him. And by that time, there was no regulation in pharmacy training, even at diploma. The only university that was offering pharmacy was the University of Nairobi.
That is in 2007?
Yes, we are talking about 2007 and all those years.
Yeah.
The only college that was offering diploma was KMTC Nairobi campus only. So now this is a time now the population was growing. If you could have looked at the market at that particular time, we never even had pharmaceutical drug inspectors. We used to call them the drug inspectors, who are former police officers. And the most knowledgeable police officer is one who was being brought over to do the crackdowns.
Okay.
So after that, with Dr. Obega, we started training at a certificate level for several years. Then after that, Dr. Obega went back, went to the US.
Okay.
And after that, I took over the college which he was running in Hurlingham. But as usual, there were management issues, rent issues. The railroad decided to kick us out. So this is a time now I looked for several of my colleagues, the late Kirui, the late Dr. Kemuhu, Dr. Owine, who migrated to the UK, and we decided to start training at a diploma level.
Okay.
So at that time, we sat down and we went to the KIA, that was the Kenya Institute of Education. It is the one that was responsible for doing curriculum development. So we went there, we had a meeting in Machakos County, and we went there for 2 weeks, and we developed a curriculum for training at a diploma level.
Okay.
By that particular time, the Pharmacy Appraisals Board was not involved. In actual fact, it is the Kenya National Examination Council who used to do the examination.
Yeah.
But towards 2010, 2011, now everybody in the all parts of the country started seeing that training in pharmacy at the diploma level was very, very lucrative. So colleges mushroomed everywhere without any standards. And now this is the time now the Pharmacy Appraisals Board came up.
Yeah.
And they decided to regulate pharmacy training.
Yeah.
So we were training, I'm the pioneer trainer at the diploma level. We started at Nairobi Technical, Kabete Technical, Kenya Polytechnic, Vika Technical, Eldoret Polytechnic, Mombasa Polytechnic, Vika Polytechnic, Vika Institute of Technology.
Yeah.
This is now the Mount Kenya University.
Okay.
I also started also at Muranga College of Technology, which is now the Muranga University College.
Okay.
So now you can imagine we were about 4 of us. We had to share the timetables. Yeah. So in one day in the morning, you are at 8, you are in Nairobi Technical. At 10:30, you are in Kabete. At 2:30, you are at Kenya Polytechnic.
Yeah.
At 4:30, you are in Vika, at Vika Technical or Vika Institute of Technology. Yeah. I'm telling you, we used to work. We used to train even on Sundays. Okay. Yes. But now other pharmacists came and joined us. Yeah. Then after that, these colleges were all government. Okay. They had an engagement with the Ministry of Education. And now the Ministry of Education started employing pharmacists as teachers to train pharmacy in these colleges. So in another way, we opened that. Now, later, I did meet Mr. Professor Simon Gisharu. We just met in a political function. Then we engaged. We started certificate in pharmacy training at the Vika Institute of Technology, diploma at the Vika Institute of Technology. And then we grew and then we converted the Vika Institute of Technology to the Mount Kenya University. Yeah. At the Mount Kenya University now, that was the first private university to offer a Bachelor of Pharmacy degree outside University of Nairobi. Okay. Now, after Mount Kenya University started offering the degree in pharmacy, the second university to come up was Kenyatta University. Then from Kenyatta University was JKUAT, Jomo Kenyatta University of Technology. I can give the whole chronology because I was involved in the establishment of all this. So I think I've played my role.
Definitely.
In actual fact, I've played a key role in training, and I've played a key role in issues of parallel importation and all those type of sorts of things. And I'm a very proud our matter. I kept on being in contact with the University of Nairobi. And therefore, you are I think sometimes it's good for us to appreciate the support we got.
Definitely.
When I started this training, I never had the textbooks. So the first office I knocked on was that of Professor Anastasia Guantai. Professor Anastasia Guantai gave me a textbook, one on DSM. She actually loaned the textbooks to me. It's one on drug supply and management, principles of drug supply management.
Okay.
Then after that, she also gave me another book on pharmaceutical chemistry, which was in her office. At that particular time, she was the dean of the Faculty of Pharmacy, University of Nairobi. Yeah. Then after that, I climbed up the other building. I went to Professor Isaac Kibwage, who was in charge of pharmaceutical chemistry. Yeah. He also gave me a textbook. So all these universities you are seeing, they have been birthed by the University of Nairobi. Yeah. Because I've told you, the starting resource material was obtained from the University of Nairobi. And they never sold it to me, they gave it to me. By that particular time, I can tell you, even when we used to go to the University of Nairobi bookshop to get some of those books, you could not even get them. So what we used to do is we used to go to the street vendors. There were quite a number along Moi Avenue, up on, is it Nairobi Cinema, and all those types of things. Then we used to go and look for those books which could have come. And they used to be very, very, very rare. You also do recall that even in medicine, it was only the University of Nairobi which was offering. Yeah. But later, Moi University started offering the medicine, the MBCHB degree course. So getting the resource materials was difficult. But after that, at Normal Kenya University, we did partner with some people from outside the country in the US, and they started giving us enough resource material. Okay. So over the last, let's say that from the year 2010, a lot of changes have come up. Not just locally in the country, but also at the global level. Because the World Health Organization came up with standards on how to standardize and to set goals in pharmacy practice, from manufacturing, from distribution, from all those types of things. Like one of the goals they came up with is that they developed what we call the Common Technical Document. This is a template that was going to be used by anybody in the world who wanted to register drugs. Okay. Apart from that, they came up, World Health Organization, they came up with new areas such as adverse drug reporting. This is what we also call pharmacovigilance and all those types of things. And now because Kenya is a member of the WHO, we got a lot of training and technical support from the WHO. The Pharmacy Operations Board is the one which has been responsible for all this work. So training regulation has gone a notch higher to the level that in Africa, our country is very, very much advanced. Yeah. I can tell you that Kenya is now an example of excellence in the areas of pharmacovigilance. The person who is in charge of African medicine drug registration and harmonization is a University of Nairobi trained pharmacist, Dr. Gashoki. Okay. The person who is responsible for the whole of continent for medical devices is a University of Nairobi trained pharmacist, Dr. Pori. Now, so you can only see that now leadership has now extended from being not only in Kenya, but to the whole continent. This is being done by the University of Nairobi alumni and alma mater. Yeah. And I also forgot to mention to you that I'm also the vice chairman of the East African Health Platform. This is the umbrella body of all the health actors within the East African countries. We are talking about all the countries that make up the East African community: Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania, Rwanda, Burundi, Uganda, Somali, South Sudan, DRC. We are now 8. And I'm also the focal pharmaceutical person in this region. So there's a lot of work we are doing. So the Pharmacy Appraisals Board has done a lot of good work in terms of enforcement and all those types of things. Now, the other issue that has come up is that new areas of pharmacy have come up. Probably they have not been started here. University of Nairobi has started master's programs in pharmaceutical chemistry, in clinical pharmacy. And, I think they are trying to do something now on in pharmaceutical manufacturing. Equally, even more university is trying to do that. But we have got new areas probably we have not been able to go into, like areas of radio pharmacy, nuclear pharmacy, nanotechnology, and all that. But I can tell you for sure that we have a University of Nairobi trained nuclear pharmacist, the one who is in charge of running the equipment and machinery at Kenyatta University Teaching 11 Hospital. She's an alumni of the University of Nairobi. So there's a lot of good things which has happened from the University of Nairobi. Now, every sector has got its own challenges and all those types of things. One of the areas we require to note is that the population of this country is growing. By the time you are leaving the university, I think the population was about 20 million or 22 million. Today, our population is now approaching 57 million. I know a lot of people there are talking about 55 million, but I can tell you for sure that we are now approaching 56 to 57 million. So as the population grows, the demand for healthcare also grows. Our cities are growing. Now, today we have got the counties. Counties are now centers of economic activities. So a lot of people are, instead of them coming, all of them flooding to the city of Nairobi, they are now going to the county headquarters. Machakos, Murang'a, Nyeri, Kirugwe, and all those types of things. And when that happens, you are going to find that the centers around those areas grow and populations move into those areas. But if you look at the number of pharmacists we have in this country, we have got below 6,000. The pharmaceutical technologists we have are about 14,000. So with a pharma manpower of less than 20,000, doing 56 million Kenyans is not adequate. So we have had a lot of areas, especially in lithium pharmacy, which have been run by quacks. And this is not going to be sorted, because you see, that person who has got a sick child or that person who is sick, what they want is that thing called the medicine. Where they get it from is secondary. They want that capsule of amoxicillin, that tablet of nifedipine to lower their blood pressure. They want that calcium supplement and all those types of things. So the manpower we have is far, far, far less sufficient, and we require to increase it. And probably a lot of people may not agree with me, but we have to go to the route of training certificate in pharmacy, so that we now take, we go the pyramid way. At the bottom of the pyramid, we have a lot of certificate of pharmacy. Then after that, we can have the diploma holders and later the degrees in pharmacy. Obviously, there has been a lot of talk that we require to abolish training in diploma because of the conflict, because a lot of these two cadres have been fighting all the time. But this is a national issue that requires to be addressed from that. The other challenge we have had is that our market is not that clean. We have had a lot of infiltration of what we call substandard medicines and also counterfeits. In actual fact, our biggest problem is not counterfeit medicines. Our biggest problem in Kenya is substandard medicines. There's a very big difference between a counterfeit and a substandard medicine. A substandard medicine has got faults in the manufacturing process. Probably the remits, which are normally 90 to 110% or 95 to 105%, are not being met. The tablets are not well packed and all those types of things. Those are what we call substandard products. In substandard products, do not pose a very, very big health risk. Probably they may not work the way they are supposed to be. Yeah. They are supposed to work. When we talk about counterfeit medicines, these are products deliberately made to imitate a genuine product. And in actual fact, those counterfeit products may not contain any active ingredient. But the packaging, sometimes the counterfeiters are so good at their game that the product looks better than the originator product, pack-wise. But inside the drug, there's nothing, or it could be something else. The other time we had these issues of mix-up. The pharmacy prisons board the other day gave a notice whereby a PPI was now containing fluoroquinone inside. So these are challenges which are there, but the situation in Kenya is not that bad. If we have to compare ourselves with Nigeria, I can tell you that our country, the pharmacy sector in Kenya, is sainthood. We have not gotten that. But a lot of work is being done. Like now the Pharmacy Prisons Board has done a lot of work to secure all ports of entry. At least through the airports, it's not next to impossible to bring those in. But a lot of these unregistered products are still coming in by road, via lorries, via buses, and all those types of things. But this is something that will require what we call concerted effort of everybody. The only way to do this is by ensuring that all pharmacists buy drugs from legitimate sources, because the illegitimate sources are the ones who feed the market with substandard and counterfeit medicines. Now, on the areas of parallel importation, this is an area which a lot of people are not aware about, but it is the surest way of bringing down the cost of medicines down, because you bring in genuine products, genuine originator products from a different market where there are price differentials, so that you are going to find that our price differentials are about 50 to 70%. So that when that sorry agent, that multinational, will send that product at this price, when he gets competition, he'll be forced down. And I can tell you that for the last 20 years, parallel importation is what has stabilized prices of pharmaceuticals in Kenya. It may also surprise you that because of parallel importation, prices of medicines in Kenya have gone down. They have not gone up as opposed to other countries. Now, Kenya is a high-end market. And that's why you find that most of these big pharma, when they are pricing their commodities, they price them here out of reach. You're going to find that price of products in this country are higher than in Europe, higher than in US, where people have got compulsory medical insurance. But here people have to be forced to buy the commodities from their pockets. So yet in our country, we do not have issues of price control. You go to India, you go to Egypt, you go to South Africa, you go to Norway, you go to Denmark. Literally, all those big countries, they have put up issues of price control on pharmaceuticals, because you can go to all the hospitals, you can go and see the best consultants, but the aim is for you to get a medicine. And this medicine must be affordable to you, because medicines on the shelves of hospitals, medicines on the shelves of chemists are not assisting the sick. They will only assist the sick when they are taken, and not just taken the right way. So the issues of access requires to be addressed, and that's why I've been fighting for parallel importation. We are now going to take the notch higher. We are now going to fight for control of prices of pharmaceuticals in this country, because as pharmacists, we have a moral responsibility, a moral obligation to ensure that our people have got access to technology. It's now a very sad state of affairs when our people continue to die from cancer, not because newer molecules are not available. The newer molecules are available, but they are literally unaffordable. Yes. Simply because of unethical practices such as overpricing of commodities. Yes. If you looked at what is happening in other countries, people do not die from cancer the way people die from cancer in Kenya. Yes. We have got an onslaught by what we call the non-communicable diseases. This is hypertension, diabetes, cancers, prostate issues, and all those types of things. Heart problems and all those types of things. These are issues which can comfortably be handled by ensuring that people have got access to the latest technology. And this technology is available in other countries. And me as a parallel importer, I will do everything possible to ensure that the drug that was approved yesterday by FDA is available in Kenya. Yes, because we have got air travel now. Is the farthest part probably is Australia, whereby you require 24 hours. But I can be able to bring that molecule here within 36 hours. Albumin is now substituting blood products and all those types of things. Heparin and all those types of things. We now have got people who are making them. Instead, you don't, when somebody requires blood, you don't have to go and give blood itself. You can give a substitute that is going to cure that person. So there's all this technology, the nanotechnology, the targeted therapy, whereby if you are giving a drug for the treatment of cancer, because cancer drugs are very, very toxic, this drug will be delivered directly to that point with cancer. If it is in the liver, the drug goes directly to the liver. It does not affect the other organs in the body. So all this technology is available, but it's not affordable. So I, as a chairman of Kenya Pharmaceutical Distributors Association, and as a chairman of all parallel importers, I have to work extra hard to ensure that these drugs become available and accessible to our people. This is the purpose of technology. Technology that is available, it does not assist people, is useless. The purpose of technology is to assist people. That's why we require newer technology. And technology is changing on a daily basis at our universities. We require now also to be updating our curriculums as regularly as possible so that we are teaching our students what is relevant. Curriculums which were being taught 5 years back in medicine, in pharmacy, have been overtaken by events. So there's need for the review of curriculums as much as possible. There's also need for manufacturers to review their manufacturing portfolios so that they stop making useless molecules. I think now it is no pride for companies to say that they are making paracetamol tablets, ibuprofen tablets, ibuprofen suspension, and all those types of things. We require to move up. Yes. The other issue is that another way of growing is that we have to take the Ghana picture, whereby the simple molecules, which can be made by literally every pharmaceutical company in that country, are not eligible for exports. So that in our country, we stop importing paracetamol, we stop importing cotrimoxazole, we stop importing amoxicillin, we stop importing ampicillin. In actual fact, the East African community has come up with a list of about 14 products which should not be imported. These ones should be left to the local manufacturers because these are the products which are the most commonly used. In Kenya, we have what we refer to as the essential drugs list, which is updated regularly. And everything that is in the essential drug list should be made locally. And we ran a very big lesson during COVID. You remember during COVID, all countries stopped exports of medicines. China and India, we were the biggest producers. They stopped exporting their medicines. Yeah. In actual fact, I can tell you during that particular time, this country was saved by the parallel importers. Because it is we who moved out of the box, who went out of our traditional sources of medicines, and then we looked for all those medicines. In actual fact, countries such as Turkey, though their products were in foreign languages, Norway, Russia, and all those countries, they assisted us a lot by bringing those products. And the Pharmacy Appraisals Board at that particular time did not have any other option but to allow those things because we required unique molecules, like the basizitumabs and all those types of things, which were available in India. India had been badly hit by COVID. People were dying left, right, center. Flights were not going. Planes were not flying. You could not bring in any products. You remember that's exactly what happened. So what lesson did we learn from that particular time? We require to grow capacity. not only on medicines, but also on vaccines, because these calamities can come any other time. Yes. So that countries can become sufficient. Not only that, we now require now to ensure that as regional economic blocks and as continents, we have got sufficiency in terms of farmer supplies. Now, what we are doing through the East African community several years is that we started targeting the countries. Like Uganda was going to become a specialist in kidney issues, Kenya on this, Tanzania on that, Rwanda on that, and all those steps of this, so that we start establishing what we call centers of excellence for treatment. And this is exactly what is going to evolutionize pharmacy and make it very, very relevant.
Yeah. What is one thing you wish to do during your tenure in office to impact pharmacy, but you never managed to do?
I think what I came up with, training, I managed to do it properly.
Yeah.
Parallel importation, I've managed to do it properly. Now what we are trying to do is that is to ensure that we have what we call world-class industries. Now, by coincidence, most of the members of the Kenya Pharmaceutical Distributors Association have established their own manufacturing facilities. You all know that traditionally, the traditional big local manufacturers here are not owned by Kenyans, but now our members have established. And in line with the progress of our country achieving maturity level 3, our capacity, our engineering, our designs, and all that is now going to levels which have never been seen. And I'm very, very proud that members of the Kenya Pharmaceutical Distributors Association have decided, they have agreed to upgrade their facilities. The next thing we do is we stop manufacturing the small products. We become bigger. We want our industries to be like the land Baxi of India. Those big companies. The other issue is that we want technology transfer. We want the big pharma to come and partner with our local manufacturers so that there's technology transfer. Already what is happening in Kitengela by Square Pharmaceuticals, that is one area of technology transfer. What Cosmos is doing is also very, very good. What Universal Corporation is doing is also very, very good. So our people now, we require to move up. Let's discard their own medicines, the paracetamols, the ibuprofens, the piroxicams, and all that, and move to the newer molecules. Let's move into biotechnology. Let's move into nanotechnology, because that's the way we are doing. And all this technology is available. Iran, if you went to Iran, a lot of people would think that Iran is not advanced. You only hear about the fights between Iran and US over nuclear weapons. But I can tell you, in all factories that make medicines in Iran, there's no manpower. It is robots which do that work with precision, meaning that there's no human interface. So there will be no contamination and all those types of things. That is what I envisage that the Kenyan pharmaceutical industry will be. I'm also acting for fair play, fairness in pricing, and for people who have got access to medicines to be very, very genuine, to have a heart. They should realize that they are dealing with the patients who do not know the medicines. They don't have that thing. They just come with a piece of paper to the chemist. And when they come to the pharmacy, they rely on you as a pharmacist, as the expert person. It is you who is supposed to interpret that illegible handwriting and turn it into a life-saving element. You give that patient who is in your chemist, who has visited your pharmacy, something that is going to make their tomorrow better than today. Otherwise, in a summary, I do wish to congratulate the University of Nairobi, especially our teachers, Professor Anastasia Gwantai, the late Professor Gishuru Murichu, Professor Maitai, Dr. D.S. Karaja, Dr. Demo, Professor Kokwaro, and very, very many of them. Professor Isaac Kibwage, who is now the Vice Chancellor of Egerton University, because you made us into something. If it was not for the molding that they took us through, we could not be what we are. Today we are what we are because of the molding we passed through. And I can tell you, studying pharmacy was not that easy. It was very, very difficult. I do recall in pharmaceutical chemistry, you could draw those structures using an exam, and then you just get 0 out of 20. But at the end of the day, we have to realize that gold is the most precious metal. But gold must pass through a furnace. It is after passing through the furnace that what comes out becomes the most precious thing in this world. The Faculty of Pharmacy at the University of Nairobi is a furnace. The pharmacists trained at the University of Nairobi, I can tell you, they are definitely different from the pharmacists trained by the other universities. It is because the University of Nairobi is a womb that incubates the best brains. That womb are the likes of Professor Anastasia Guantai, Professor Maitai, Dr. D.S. Karaja, and the others who left, and the current ones who are over there. They are doing something great, something unique. And I think they are very, very proud when they see their alma mater succeeding in life, succeeding in business, and offering leadership. You are all aware that we had a pharmacist who was a governor of Nairobi, Dr. Evans Kidero. Yeah? He's an alma mater. He went through the University of Nairobi, and he became a governor. Dr. Moses Mwangi has been trying to become a governor in Murang'a County. I personally, I was vying for the deputy governorship of Nyeri County. Yes. So, pharmacists who have gone through that furnace at the School of Pharmacy at the University of Nairobi have now expanded. We have got pharmacists who are doing well in US, in UK, and all other areas of this world. And most of them are from the University of Nairobi. And they are now not serving Kenya, Africa, but they are now serving the whole world. I do wish University of Nairobi the best as they celebrate the 50 years. And we are looking forward to celebrating the 75 and the 100 years of this School of Pharmacy. Thank you very much.